And here we are. Welcome to lesson 2 of the True and You Marketing Bootcamp. And we're going to pick up right where we left off last time, which is after we discussed the AIM strategy, the AIM system, AIM framework. A is for attention, I is for interest, M is for movement. That's the only thing you'll ever need to know in order to formulate your marketing strategy. Now, we discussed how interest, is the most difficult thing for most companies. Most companies don't actually develop this at all, for sure, not fully. And therefore, they suffer from it. Is the way, it's the reason that your company is compelling. The reason that people are taking money out of their pocket and putting the money into your pocket. So almost nothing could be as important or more important than this. And we're going to take a deep dive into it right now. Now, the first thing to know is that creating your I is an endless journey. As long as you have a business, you will be refining your I. You know, if you would be perfect in getting this I, then you would instantly have about $1 trillion because it would be so compelling that people would just be throwing money at you. Now, of course, that's a dream, and it's not reality. But when we do start our businesses, the more we invest into creating this I, invest our time, invest our energy, invest our understanding, the better it's going to be. But we should just know from the outset that this is something that doesn't end. This is part of building a valuable business, which is constantly refining our I, making sure that what we're saying and what we're doing is compelling and more compelling and more compelling. So it's an endless journey. It's a road. You notice this great graphic over here, which is you don't want to go driving on the sides of the road. You want to have a direction where to go. We're going to set you up on that road right now, but this road does not end. This road is a direction, and by following the road, you'll make your company much, much more valuable. Now, let's keep in mind the goal. Interest is great for the acronym AIM, but what we're really trying to do is formulate the company's character in the sense that it is able to compel people to buy. It's greasing the wheels of getting money from other people's pockets into your pockets. We are going to start on the road of doing that right now. How do we compel people to buy from us, whether it's our service or our product? Now, the compelling offer, the way we're going to attack it, has 3 different parts. We're going to look at part 1 right now. And part 1, I like to ask the magic question, which is, what desire do you fulfill? And we're going to take a step back right now. You see the bunny ears for the magic question. We're going to take a step back and understand that when most of us present our companies, and certainly those that haven't put in the work to do this well, we present the features and services that we do. I'm a contractor, I'm a plumber, I'm an electrician, I help wire your house, right? These are all the things that we do. And happens to be, that's not very compelling. It's descriptive. It tells us what you are doing, but very often people are just liked in their own psyche and they're not interested in what you're doing. People have one interest as far as their interface with the world, which is, what do things do for me? You know, we have built-in filters, and what we try to do is we try to filter out anything that doesn't really help us and anything that doesn't fit into our lives. And it's a defense mechanism because we don't want to be bombarded by everything that's irrelevant to us. And think about, as you walk down the street or as you flip through a newspaper and you're looking at, and all the ads are screaming out at you, we filter things out because self-preservation, we have to just focus our attention and our time and our effort. And our customers are the same way. Our prospects are the same way. The key to people's attention and the key to people's interest really is if they desire something, if there's something that they want and you can provide it, that's something that they're paying attention to. That's something that they're interested in. So nobody wants an electrician. They might want their light fixed in the dead of night, and they want to know that they can rely on someone to do it, or whatever, their alarm clock, whatever's broken in the dead of night. But no one wants the specific service that you are providing. People want what your service does for them, right? Is that clear? No one cares about what you do. They care about what you can do for them. So the first part of the compelling offer is thinking of this: what desire do you fulfill? Now, luckily, we have some tools with which we're able to dig down and figure this out, because it's a very broad, abstract question. You might have heard it from marketers before. Well, what do you do for people? What do you fulfill? I've discovered two very, very powerful tools to enable us to drill down into our experiences with our own customers and figure out what exactly is it that they desire and what desire do we fulfill. Let's look at these tools. The first tool is called the 2 a.m. desire, or otherwise some of my clients know this as the hot button issue, meaning that there are things that people are walking around with that bother them. It bothers them so much that if they would wake up at 2 a.m., they might even be thinking about that thing. They want a certain result. And something about your service, something about your product satisfies that result. They have satisfies that desire. They're thinking, I wish that I had this. And it's a very, very deep, passionate passionate desire burning within them. It's a hot button issue. It's something that really, really bothers them. Now, I'm going to stop and just say some examples over here of what could possibly be a hot button issue. It's come up on the calls before. People might be familiar with this from other marketing courses. It's a great example. Domino's Pizza. Domino's Pizza, they were fourth in the nation, and they launched themselves into first place by creating a business model, a slogan, really an interest, by creating an I based upon the following. We will bring hot pizza to your door within a half hour or less, or you don't pay. Now, that's very powerful. That's a hot button issue. They identified that their target market were college kids that were hungry and didn't have the time to go out to the store and wait. They just wanted the pizza. They wanted the pizza now. And they cashed in on that, and they solved the hot button issue. Desire. I really, really want pizza right now. And here comes Domino's saying hot pizza to your door in 30 hours or less. They did in 30 minutes or less. They did not say that we have fast cars, right? That's their service. They didn't even say that we have good pizza. From what I hear, they didn't have good pizza. But they solved the hot button issue. There was something that people wanted very, very much, and then they cashed in on getting that. So before you even start brainstorming and, just watching these videos, just let's absorb the concepts first, and then I'll walk you through the brainstorming afterwards. But for now, what we just want to know is take a step back and think about the people that want to buy from us, the people that have bought from us already. And, they bought from us. That means that they gave us money. Why? Why did they give us money? What did they want to accomplish? What was their 2 a.m. desire? What was their hot button issue? What was niggling at them enough that they were able to transfer their funds from themselves to you? And you're going to think in that direction. That is tool number one. We want to identify a 2 a.m. desire, or otherwise known as a hot button issue. Now, along the same lines, this is not a second step in the compelling offer. It's another tool to be able to pick our brains, which is the jobs to be done framework. And jobs to be done, it's not strictly a marketing term. It's used in the broader business world. But at least as far as marketing is concerned, it's best illustrated with a story. And the story is as follows. We can imagine around the year 2000, a year before the iPod came out, or maybe it was 1998, whatever year it was. We would imagine Apple sitting around their boardroom, and they're trying to figure out what to invent next. Now, none of us were there, but we can imagine what happened in the boardroom, that it was pretty similar to a certain series of events, and certainly not similar to a different series. And what that means is as follows. What probably did not happen was like this. Hey, guys, we have to invent something. What should we invent? And then someone said, hey, why don't we invent like a little machine that carries a lot of music and then sell that because a music machine that's small is very, very cool. So that probably didn't happen because just listening to it probably didn't happen. What probably happened was much more similar to the next story, which is that Apple convened a meeting and they were trying to figure out how to get into the music industry. And what they did was they identified problems in the music industry. Now just think of the year 1998. Remember CDs? Anyone remember that anymore? Bulky stuff. They scratch easily. I remember seeing, like, in the trunk of a car, a 6 CD changer. It was the size of, I don't know, like half a refrigerator box. And that was in order to carry 6 CDs and switch them automatically from the comfort of your car. Wow. So, the sound was good, but it wasn't good for long family trips. They weren't good for jogging. They skipped. And they just, CDs are high maintenance. They scratch so easily. So Apple identified that, you know what people want? People probably want something like this. People want a way to have a lot of music without the inconvenience of CDs, or let's put that, high quality music. People who are listening to music have a desire, listen to the same words, because this is really the same part of the compelling offer as the tool that we used earlier, which was the 2 a.m. desire. People want a way to have a lot of music without the bulk of CDs. Now, what's amazing about posing the question this way is that the solutions are potentially infinite. The solution happened to be an iPod, but no one knew about an iPod because it wasn't invented yet. You know what the solution could have been? The solution could have been streaming music. It's a lot of music, and it doesn't take a lot of space. There's no bulk, but the technology for streaming wasn't invented yet, so that wasn't the solution that Apple came up with. It could have been something like fingernail implants. I don't know. The solutions are potentially endless, but Apple is coming to solve a problem. People want music in a convenient, easy to carry, easy to jog with form. And with that, the iPod was born, launched in 2001, and as we all know, they officially killed the project in 2022. So it was a massive success. The way to describe the jobs to be done, sorry about that. The way to describe the jobs to be done framework is as follows. People are thinking, I wish I had X to do Y. Now, in the case of Apple, people are thinking, I wish I had X. I have no idea what X is. No one knew what X was. The iPod wasn't invented yet. No one knows what X is. But I wish I had something to have a lot of music on my jog. I wish I had something to make music more convenient. Something. Whatever that something is, I have no idea. Our customers are thinking right now, as we speak, and as you're listening to this video, I wish I had something to do Y. I wish I had X to do Y. Now, Y is a mystery to us, but it's not a mystery to them. We want to figure out what that is. Our exercise, our tool, is to figure out, what are they thinking? They wish they had me, but they don't even know that I exist yet, right? Just like they don't know that the iPod exists yet, they don't know that our service exists. But they're thinking, I wish that I had something to do Y. And that's our challenge right now. We want to figure out what that why is. We want to figure out what they're thinking. I wish I had something to do what? What are they thinking? Again, what is their desire? Very, very powerful tool. When we go through the brainstorming, you're going to put a lot of effort into this, figuring out what is it that they are thinking. I wish that I had X, something happens to be your service. I wish that I had X to do Y. That is tool number 2, the jobs to be done framework. Moving right along, that is part 1 of your compelling offer. And we're going to go straight into part 2, which is the problem, meaning what is in the way. We just identified, or at least we know we're going to identify, the desire that people have, the 2 a.m. desire, the I wish that I had something to do Y. And the question is, why is it so important? Or rather, what is in their way? Why do they wish they had X to do Y? Why don't they have Y right now? Right? Why don't they have Y right now? In the case of music, why don't they have a convenient way of carrying a lot of music? Because CDs are bulky and they scratch. That's the problem. The problem is CDs. So I wish that I had X to do Y. I wish I had something to carry a lot of music in a small amount of space. What's the problem? Why can't I do that right now? Because the only technology is CDs, and CDs is not small, and it's very inconvenient. We want to know when we figure out that our customers are thinking, I wish that I had X to do Y. Our question to ask ourselves is, why are they so busy wishing? Why don't they just have the why? Why is it that the why is so elusive to them? That is the problem. Very nice graphic over here, road closed. They want something, but they cannot get it. What is the nature of this problem? Further, probably in next week's video, we're going to discuss different ways of identifying the problem. One of the most effective ways of characterizing a problem is to create something which is called a villain. A villain is the source of all the problems that is happening. Just like in a story, where what makes the story interesting, you have a hero, the protagonist wants something, and that's what the story is about. But always in a story, there's something in the way. There's something that's preventing the protagonist from getting what he wants, and that makes the story interesting, because then our focus shifts from just the hero trying to do what he wants, but really it ends up being a battle between the hero and the villain. The villain in a story is a problem. Just give an example where a company did this very, very effectively. It was a vacuum company that identified, people want clean houses. Okay, clean houses. And to say that our vacuum cleans your house, that's pretty good. That's better than some vacuums that are advertising that we have great suction and we have 5 different models to choose from. Yeah, thank you very much. So it's a good starting point. That's the desire. People want to have clean houses. But then they realize that, what? People really, really, really hate dust. Dust is in the way of your clean house. Dust is in the way of your quality of life. Dust is the villain. Dust is evil. You want to have a clean house, but you know what the problem is? There's dust all over the place. And then they created their vacuums as the anti-dust, not just something which keeps your house clean or something that you use in order to make the room smell like that. No. These vacuums, they are super powered against dust, because dust is the problem. So we're going to attack this later, again, more in the next video, about how to create a villain and the benefits of creating a villain. But a villain is one example of a problem that people deal with. Very often when I'm coaching people, they, especially B2B, what they tell me is that the problem that their customers deals with is stress. And it's sometimes they let it go, sometimes not. It depends on the situation. But for some companies, that's very good, that they're selling a certain service to B2B. And what is the reason that people like their service? Because this service attacks a problem. It's not stressful. And they prove it how it isn't stressful. But they've designed their interface to be stress-free. I worked with someone who does promotional items. And he designed a system where it's seamless and stress-free promotional items. That's resonating very well with his customers, because people want their promotional items. People want to order stuff, but it's a very hassling experience, and you don't know where it's holding, the shipping and the quality, and there's so many unknowns. It becomes very stressful. And just presenting yourself as somebody who solves that, and presenting, proving it just a little bit, but even presenting the problem as it is, that I know what you're thinking. You have this problem, and this might be your solution. That's very, very powerful. So in part 2, again, the second part of our interest is the problem, identifying the reason why they don't have what they want. I wish I had X to do Y. Well, why don't you have Y right now? What's in the way? We're going to identify the problem. Part 3, the success. Okay, this is the final area, the final aspect of the interest of a compelling offer, which is explaining the success that you bring people to. Now, I wrote over here, emotional why. Emotional why means as follows. We all have services, or we all have products, and people desire our product. People want it that because of our product, they will get something that they want. That's the desire. That was part one. There's something in the way right now that they don't have the result that they're looking for. That was part two. That's the problem. Number three, we want to get a little bit deeper into their emotions and figure out what's driving them. What is driving their desire? What's the why? What's the why over here? Going back to Apple, very likely that the why, the emotional success that happens after a person has an iPod, is that they enjoy their trips better, or they enjoy their family outings better. They enjoy their jog more. That's very emotionally satisfying. It's frustrating to be on a jog and not have something to distract yourself with. It's frustrating to travel in a car for a long time and feel every bump in the road because of sheer boredom. So the emotional why would probably be something about enjoying your blank, whatever they decide to capitalize on. Apple is a very large company, and they're able to spread out their message, and they don't have to be as specific as us people that are smaller than Apple just a little bit. But the general idea was that it led to a more pleasant experience. That's already an emotional why. Pleasantness is an emotional experience. So we have an electrician, and let's say for argument's sake that the electrician eliminates stress, however he does it. Okay, so that was the problem. Why is that important? That it shouldn't be stressful. What's the success that happens when this person does have his electricity serviced in the way that he wants it? Is he, are they able to provide for their family better because they're taken care of? I worked with another client that was actually like that. He was a roofer, and the angle that he took was that leaky roofs are demeaning to the adults in charge of the house. They feel bad about their house. They feel bad for their kids. They feel bad for guests they're entertaining. And the emotional why is to have the security that you look competent, that you're not somebody with a leaky roof. What we want to do is dig down deep and figure out what is the reason. What's the why? What is the reason that this is so important to our customers, that when we service them, they get the relief, and that's their success. So in review, and we're going to see the spreadsheets, and this video is only about half over, but in review, there are three parts to a compelling offer. The first part of the compelling offer is the desire. And we have tools to get there. First of all, you want a 2 a.m. desire. Second of all, you want the jobs to be done framework, that I wish I had X to do Y. Secondly, we want to identify the problem, the reason why they don't have the Y yet. And thirdly, we want to identify the emotional why, the success. Okay. Now, if you're overwhelmed or this is too abstract, not a problem. We're going to go to a spreadsheet, and on the spreadsheet, you'll be able to brainstorm yourself, and I'm going to show you how to do that now. But just bear with me. This is the concept. We're going to go through all of these parts again on the spreadsheet. Now, and that's what we're going to do now. Let's get our hands dirty. Check out your very own spreadsheet, which has been emailed to you. I'll put it on the WhatsApp chat as well. And you'll be able to follow along either with the video or just open your own spreadsheet and follow along that way. But first, a word about how to work with the spreadsheet. And I want to introduce you to a concept called blue sky brainstorming. Blue sky brainstorming is an idea that there are two stages to a successful brainstorm. There's the no filter stage, draft one, no such thing as a dumb idea. There's no such thing, just whatever comes to your mind. So there's a topic of the brainstorm, and you'll see on the spreadsheet what you're supposed to be brainstorming, and just write down everything that comes to mind. This is the filter-free draft of your brainstorm. Draft number 2 is to filter, right? There's no such thing as a dumb idea until we actually put it into the world. So we apply filters in draft number 2. We go through the list that we wrote down in draft number 1, and then we start applying a filter. That allows us to free up our brains to creative ideas that we might not have thought of otherwise, because we're constantly checking ourselves, and we're constantly thinking, does that work? Does that work? Does that work? In the first draft, don't do that. Leave the filter for the second draft, and then you'll come up with something that looks reasonable to you. So with that, just like to tell you that you've got this, you rock, you rule, Q-Graphic. We're going to take a look at the spreadsheet. I'm going to explain every area again, and then your homework is going to be to brainstorm draft 1 and draft 2. This is one of the most important things you will ever do for your business. And again, it's an endless journey, but start off on the right foot. Get the tools at your disposal, because you will be refining this throughout the lifetime of your business. And with that, let's go straight and look at the spreadsheet. Okay, and here we go. We have the compelling offer worksheet. You'll see on the left-hand side, you'll see the, first of all, target, which is something that we created on the first call that we had 2 weeks ago. It was last week. Then right underneath you have desire, problem, and success. These are the 3 areas of the compelling offer that we discussed previously in the slides. And finally, compelling offer equation, which I'm going to introduce to you over here for the first time. So target over here, we already know: most pressing need, most money, easiest sale. This is something that we should have identified earlier. And again, this is possibly a work in progress. Put down whatever you have over here. Desire is the result your target wants to achieve. That's wants with an S. Job to be done, right? I need an X to do a Y. Let me write that in over here. I wish I had X to do Y. Okay, that's job to be done. What's the why? They want something. What they want you, but they don't know that. But they wish they had it to do why. What is the why? We want to know what is the why. Bonus is if it's a 2 a.m. problem. It's a hot button issue. It's something which is very, very relevant. It's a burning desire. I called it a bonus because, as we've discussed many times, you don't need anything. You could create something and have stronger areas, stronger parts of one area, weaker parts of another one. If the desire is not a burning issue, you don't get a failing grade necessarily. It's great if you could dig into that. You do want a 2 a.m. problem, but if you don't find a 2 a.m. problem, you find maybe a 7 p.m. problem. That might be good enough also if we're strong in the rest of the exercises. But definitely as a bonus, try to look for a 2 a.m. problem, something which is very, very relevant, a burning issue. So this creates relevance, meaning that this gets you into people's story. As we discussed, that people don't care about the services you provide. People don't care about the details of how much work you put into creating the service. They care about what things do for them. So to become relevant for someone, we want to know, what are they thinking? What's their why? I wish I had something to do why. As soon as we're able to fulfill the why, we become relevant. That's desire. Over here, we have problem. What's in the way of the desire, right? They want something. Well, why can't they have it? What is the reason? Blue sky brainstorming, put down whatever comes to your mind over here. What is the reason that they can't get their desire right now? Right afterwards is success, the emotional why. Why is this solution so important? So again, we want to dig down into not just the solution, the technical solution we provide, that we provide electrical wiring. We want to know why it's so important for them. Again, the roofer, it was important for them to look like an adult. I have examples over here, and I'll show you some other clients that I've had, just to get the juices flowing. But that's what we're trying to do. Now, finally, when you put this all together, it'll look something like this. The compelling offer equation. This is a conversational way of explaining your company. Very short, very concise. And I'll show you how powerful it is right on the next sheet over here. You have then over here examples you're going to have on your spreadsheet. So, but here's the idea. When you have your desire, problem, and success, so you formulate your compelling offer into a conversational story. This is a great elevator pitch. This is a great way to introduce yourself to anybody that's unfamiliar with you, or even if they are familiar with you, it's also great. You get up at a networking event and you have 30 seconds to say your pitch. You could say your pitch in 15 seconds and it'll knock every other pitch in the room out because of how sophisticated it is. It goes like this. You know how a certain person has a certain problem. So my service and product gives them their desire so they can have their success. That's all it is. We just plugged in target, desire, problem, success. This is the way to say it in a conversational tone in what we call an elevator pitch. And I'll show you exactly what that looks like over here. These are real life examples. These are clients that I've worked with. And over here, the product services, you could see what they were selling. And I had one person that's selling productivity training. Right before he met me, that's what he was introducing himself as. I sell productivity training. As actually efficiency training at that point. Like what does that even mean? I had another client that had content management software, and like WordPress, like anything that is online, like a website hoster. That's literally what it was, content management software. But there wasn't much more to it than that, at least as far as they could describe it. I had another client that told me that he does low voltage wiring, right? Just like anybody else in the phone book that does low voltage wiring. So I have in big red over here, stop, think about how generic and unappealing these products sound. Okay? And this is something that we all go through. We're all experts in something and we do something. And when we describe ourselves, we just describe the product. This is what I do. I'm a marketing coach. Right? That's what I do. But what does that mean to anybody? People are busy with their own lives. They're busy with their problems. They're filtering out things that aren't relevant to them. How do we reach into their psyche and get something and make this interesting to them? What's the I? So I guess I'll read everything quickly. For this productivity training, we decided that the target market was frustrated business owners that have workers. Their desires to have their workers on top of their jobs, but their staff is overwhelmed and wasting time. And the success, the emotional why, they want to have a pleasant office atmosphere. That eats at the heart of many business owners, that they walk into a very stressful environment every day. Now, this is his current sales pitch. You know how business owners are frustrated when staff misses deadlines, are wasteful and sloppy? My training gets employees on top of their work and brings an enjoyable atmosphere to the office. So how's that for a sales pitch? You have everything in there. It's relatable. It's a story. Now, those of us that don't have businesses that experience this, it doesn't necessarily resonate with us. It's not something that we wanted, but it makes sense. It's solving a problem. It's something which we understand is valuable. Yep, let's look at this fellow. Content management software. So their target market was art museum and theaters. And what we identified was that they have a desire to look professional online, right? No one desired a content management software, but they did desire to look professional online. They had a problem. They were competing against multi-million budget venues. Who set the bar? Right? So you have these theaters that have millions of dollars to spend, and these smaller venues don't have $1 million to spend, and they're trying to compete. And especially in the arts where everything is very, very visual, it's a very painful problem where you look subpar. And the bar was being set by people that had much larger budgets than them. And this content management software was the solution for that. You know how it's hard for art theaters to look professional online when they don't have $1 million budgets? So our software is the budget-friendly option to look polished to both customers and the board. We got the board in there. We identified that the success was to impress the board. That was really, really waiting on their minds, that they have to look impressive, not just to people, not just to customers, but they have to show the board that they're doing a good job. So that's what we came up with. Definitely a very compelling message. One more, low voltage wiring. So we identified that this person's best target market was warehouse owners. The desire was that people want to secure their goods. We got it down from low voltage wiring. This person's passion was mainly cameras, and we narrowed it down to that. So we said that it's so easy to overlook important areas. The emotional success is peace of mind. And this is the sales pitch that we came up with. You know how it's so hard to know exactly what's going on in your warehouse? Well, our camera installation experts give you the peace of mind, knowing, peace, that's P-E-A, yeah, knowing that you will never miss a thing, right? That became his catchphrase. So you never miss a thing. That's valuable. That's something that people are are looking for. There's an emotional why. They really want this peace of mind. How are we giving the peace of mind? Well, we have camera experts that make sure that every nook and cranny is watched over, and to make sure that you never miss a thing. So here we have businesses that could have sounded very generic. They could have been, I'm selling a product. But when we put it together in the compelling offer equation, it became a very rock solid elevator pitch. It became a rock solid description of the company. And that's what you're going to do for your company right now. So you can go back to the worksheet. You're going to brainstorm, again, blue sky brainstorm, the desire, problem, and success. Don't do the compelling offer equation in this round. You'll save it for the second draft or for the final. What you want to do is have finally compelling offer equation, plug in these areas into the equation. You know how a target has a problem. My service product is desire, so they can success. And that's it for the lesson. Do as much as you can until till Tuesday. Tuesday we'll have the live Q&A, and I can't wait to see you there.